Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, but I'm going to go over the indices too, because indices are going up and to the right. And then Bitcoin can go up to the right, even though Bitcoin's in a correction. And I think Bitcoin's going to be into correction for a period of time, guys. Um, Probably at least 4 weeks. Could go on for 6 weeks. So I'm letting you know from the rip. Get prepared because it could get ugly. It could. I'm just saying that, but it's in a correction. Okay. So you can look at that in a negative way and cry, or you can look at that in a positive way and look for an opportunity. All depends on how you want to look at that. I think that there's going to be an opportunity and it's going to be quick and it's going to be fast, and this is going to be done fast. Okay. So what I mean is if Bitcoin's going to be going up into a wave on this wave after it's done with this correction, this wave's going to be ripped off in a period of 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months, and it's going to be pretty much done in my opinion, guys. Okay. So here's the thing. I look at this whole recession thing, recession, the looming recession that's coming. Okay. Looking at some data, there's a probability that a recession could happen. So you cannot rule that out. And so what I mean is that, what did you need? Like, just say people are saying the recession is coming, like that's fact. There's never facts, obviously, in markets and recessions and things like that. So there's probabilities. And right now, just looking at some stats and stuff like that, there's like maybe if I wanted to push it, there's like a 20 to 30% probability there's going to be a recession. Okay. If I'm a little bit more, maybe you want to push the numbers, maybe there's a little bit higher chance than that. So what I'm saying is that there's a pattern to these recessions. So I have my indicator on the NASDAQ, okay? The NASDAQ, you see the NASDAQ, S&P 500. This is a recession indicator. It tells you where the recessions are. And I was noticing a pattern with how this is happening with a lot of the indices, okay? You can't really use Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin's kind of does its own thing more or less most of the time, okay? It does affect Bitcoin, obviously, but this recession pattern, okay? So here's the pattern I was noticing, and I think this is a probability could be going on if this recession perhaps decides to pop up, okay? If you notice here, this is the last recession that lasted not very long of 2020. Most of you guys know we were all around. We witnessed this, right? The barrel of oil went down to like temporarily $0 or something like that. Remember that? The chart went all the way down to the zero or something. It was like way down there. And it went up in this wave, and then at the back end of its correction, this whole thing's a correction, went down and boom, boom. At the back end of the correction is when the massive recession was, like just like over here. So a little would crash over here, went back down, and then here's the recession, and then you come back over here. Is a really good example that I like to use is that here's 87 crash. It went up for 2 years, and then this 1990 recession. And you have it over here up into a correction. It was the back half of the correction on the recessions. So more than likely, guys, I think I'm really, really sure. I'm like 75% sure that indices and the S&P 500 are not in a bull trend. They're actually in a long multi-month bounce. Okay. So what I mean is that it's very common for an eddy wave to go down and have a this, just pretend this could be 2 minutes, this could be 5 minutes, this could be 2 months, this could be 2 years or 5 years. Okay, depends on where you want to put your ABC. You could put your A over there at 2001 down to 2003, and then your B goes up to 2005, and your C goes back down to 2008. Depends on the time frame. So it's reasonable to expect a multi-month correction to come back down, whether it's here, wherever the C wave is going to end up is anybody's guess right now. And I do think that you have a high probability something like that is going on here with these indices, guys, with this correction and all the bears going up. And then this section right here, if the recession pops up, is when it's going to say the recession. Okay. You go through here when they say the recession was never a time when obviously the indices were going up. Okay. Down. That's just the NASDAQ, right? Okay. But it's going up. So it's going up. So while this is trending up into its multi-month bounce, which I think that it's doing, it's not going to be the recession. It's going to be over here whenever that's going to end up. If that perhaps decides to pop up, everybody's talking about. In the meantime, the market is in such a way where, like, I'm listening to some bulls, like these people, well, I'm bullish, but they don't know what's going on. So I think you have a good shot. Something like that could be going on, guys. I really, really do. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are in a multi-month bounce. They're correcting that last leg from 2022. More than likely, okay? Evidence is not pointing toward new bull trend, okay? But when it's all said and done, when this is all said and done, it will be the new bull trend. How it all unfolds exactly, I have no idea, guys. Like the NASDAQ here, it could be going down, multi-month trend. It could break all-time highs. It come back over here, and you could have something like that with the NASDAQ as an example. And they'll call that the start of the bull trend, when in reality it wasn't. And then they'll look at some areas just like over here. I'm sure when it went through 2 years of that, they counted that a bull trend, even though that whole thing is a correction. They count this as a bull trend, even though this whole thing is a correction. You can even look at the S&P 500, maybe like go back to the 1970s and you take a look at this, in 1970s, here's this massive fourth wave. This is a fourth wave. Fourth waves are bad places to be, right there. And then you come right here. They're not good to play. Well, it depends on how you want to look at that, but you can see this sideways. But when was the recession? Boom, recession, boom. Okay. So into this area, but they'd say, oh yeah, bull trend. Dip, bull trend, dip, right? But it got lower every time. So probably really, really confusing times. Very, very, very frustrating times. Kind of like in here right now, guys. So that's what I'm looking at, how I think that's going. I think the indices are going to be going up after a correction. So the NASDAQ is coming up to a peak. It's melting up. Okay. And the other thing is too, you have to take in consideration is the market dynamics. Now, one thing is too, I want to stress this: the economy and the markets are not the economy. Economies are not the markets. Okay. Usually the markets are ahead 6 to 9 months. And, it's different. It's just different. Okay. So a little bit different. And you have this trend right here, and the bears are here with this, with the macro environment and everything's going on. So some people are doing their charts, like they're doing this and they see this peak and they're like, oh, but you know what? I looked at, I saw on the news that China is putting their ships around Taiwan. So this must go down. Okay. I don't do charts like that. That's more voodoo to me than, you might as well put moons on your chart. Okay. I see a moon is coming up right here. And so it's going to go up there on that moon day. And then boom, it's going to, it's the same thing, like trying to predict the events that are going to affect the charts. When in reality, the only way you can do that is after the fact. So like right here, this was going up, right? And then if this correction came in after the fact, I can go, well, yeah, like you had the crash right here, the event, the beer bug, right? The beer bug. So it came down and you say, oh yeah, the beer bug caused that, right? Did the beer bug cause that, or was it just in a correction? That's open for debate. Depends on how you do technical analysis, right? But for me to go, oh, there's something, coming up, and then I think, China has ships around Taiwan, and then I think, here, boom, okay. That's kind of foolish to me. I mean, maybe it works for some people. It hasn't worked for me. It hasn't worked for me. I just know that this right here, the data points and the what's going on with the NASDAQ is up for a correction and go up. So my point is this, is that the bears are still going to be in here. And what that's going to do with the bears is down. It's going to continue to go up. It's down. It's going to create the bounce. It's going to create the bounce. So what I'm saying is down right here. Okay. Bears short. Here's the crash. Here's the crash. Here's the crash. Going to go back down. Told you there's the crash. It's going to go back up. There's the crash. And then wherever it decides to end is going to be the B wave. They're creating the B wave, guys. They're creating the bounce is what I'm telling you. Bears are creating bounce. Okay. So it's going to trend up. Not understand it. That's creating this wind. This leg right here, go back up, back down. Okay. is what I think is going on. I think it's a real low probability that that was the bottom. It could be the bottom for the NASDAQ, where it could come up and then still, when it does a correction, it'll still be a lower or a higher high, or what would that be? A higher low, excuse me, a higher low, right? So going off on a tangent about that, that's how I'm looking at that information right now with the NASDAQ and what's going on. So what is that going to do with Bitcoin? Let me first go over GBTC. And look, GBTC's got a recession in the mix too. You see that? The wave two crash that it did over there, or if that is a wave two crash, more than likely it could be, but it remains to be seen. So here's GBTC. I decided to investigate a little bit further and I had to look at Bitcoin's chart with a more detailed eye, and the CME futures chart, okay, and then GBTC. And GBTC did rip off 5 waves, okay? Right here is what it did, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ripped off an extended 5th wave, guys. So it did do 5-wave moves out of there, okay? So what does that mean? That means this is more than likely a 2nd wave correction, okay? Now, could it be a B wave? It could be a B wave, but you just have to wait for it to play out. But what that means is it went up in 5. It's going to correct this, a multi-week correction, and then it's going to go back up. Now, with GBTC, guys, what I'm saying is this is going to happen fast. Now, why am I going over GBTC? Well, if this goes up, Bitcoin's going up. This is going to follow the same thing. Bitcoin did a wave, did a correction, just like this. You put this over Bitcoin, same thing. It's going to go up. Bitcoin's only thing in their portfolio. So this is what's going to go on. But with this move that it's going to be doing over here, guys, is I have these targets over here, okay? If this is going to be a wave that it's going to be making in this pattern back down, it's these targets to 21. Okay, not counting the downside. It's got to go down first, okay? It's got to go down first. I want to clear that up. It's got to go down first and then go back up. But these areas up to 28, 29, and I do have tentative 38 to 50, and maybe some spikes up above that. This is telling me that Bitcoin is just going to be going up to these areas up here, guys. It's going to be going up to these areas, and then it's going to come back down. More than likely is I think is what's going to be going on. Now, here's the thing: once it's done with this correction, this is going to happen quick. I think this is going to happen in 4, 5, 6 months, and it'll be up there, and it's going to be done. So if you take a look at this section over here on GBTC, let me remove this this recession stuff. So this wave right here, you got a move over here. So it's kind of hard to compare this wave to this one over here. Okay, this is a lot bigger, and it's more like this section. Okay, so if I take a trend, like I'm gonna go just like this. Okay, and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna move it. You see, like it's kind of hard to compare it to this over here, but it's more like this move over here. Okay, but a little bit different, obviously. But here's the thing: this right here, it did that 154 days. 154 days, guys. It made that wave. But the next move up there was 134 days. It took less time to do this. It went 154 days, boom, and then it was less time to make that. Okay, so once it's done over here, this whole section could be done, and then that means that Bitcoin could be down, and this whole thing could be done, and it's over. It's going to be in a correction, maybe a little bit more, and then it's going to go into another massive correction, in my opinion, guys. I think it's what can be setting up. Same thing with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's going down, a multi-month bounce, wherever this is going to end up, and then it's going to be doing another correction. Bitcoin's going to go a long way. The only difference is Bitcoin's going to be in this area, back up for like a triple top section, and then back down, while the NASDAQ is going up, and it's going into its finish off its correction, guys. It's a really good shot. And then that section, that's okay, we'll go to Bitcoin, right? Here's the Bitcoin. Put this recession thing back on here. I don't have it on this section. Oh, well, I don't have it on this section. And then you'll have your lines. These lines could be popping up right over here, guys. This section right over here, something like that. And they're going to say that's the recession. If that recession perhaps decides to show up. That's how I'm looking at that. I think this will be done. Now, let's go over this correction, okay? This correction is going to be a multi-week correction. Excuse me, multi-week correction. It's already been in a correction for 4 weeks, and how this is going to unfold, don't know. But I'm looking at it coming down here somewhere around the 3rd week of June. It could be the 1st week of July. It could be the 2nd week of June. However, I don't know what's going to happen, if that's going to finish it or if it's going to be a bounce and go like this. Okay, so you can see in this section over here, it just ripped. Okay, that could happen. That could happen. Possibly. It's going to depend on the indices, guys. It's really going to depend on what the indices are doing. However, if you see this section, it did a bounce and then it did a massive correction. Is it going to be doing that? I have no idea. But if you take a look, you just take a look, right? You have this section right here. It's in a nice parallel channel, just like Bitcoin, going down into a nice parallel channel, okay? It's going down into a nice parallel channel, which I think it's going to be hitting this parallel channel, guys, with upsides and come back down to this area. Same thing with GBTC, coming down that parallel channel. However, you come to this section over here, right? Okay, look at this section. Okay, I'm going to put a parallel channel right here. Boom, just like so. I'll put a parallel channel just like so, and you can see more or less that it followed the channel too, going down, right? It followed the channel more or less. Boom, 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 boom. You know, middle of the channel, and went back up and crash. Once it gets down to this channel, what's it going to do? Is it going to go back up and do a crash? Don't know yet, guys. Or is it going to be going back down just here and rip off a wave, guys? That's the key area you want to be paying attention to. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you know, it's in a correction. It's in a correction. Okay? Say Bitcoin's in a correction, and it's not going to be done, in my opinion, for at least 1 month. 1 month, guys. 1 month, okay? So, like I said, you can look at this in a negative way as an opportunity's coming up, or a positive way. Excuse me, a positive way, opportunities coming up, or, you know, you could be negative, but you're going to have a lot of negativity. I still think it's going to be by the dip down here, guys. It comes back down. It's going to be by the dip on Bitcoin. How it's going to end up down there is remains to be seen. Is it going to do this, you know, boom, 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 and it's going to whiz back up like that, like it likes to do, and then do something over here like that? I mean, it very well could. It very well could, but I just got to keep you guys open for this stuff that's going on with Bitcoin, guys. Okay. You know, Bitcoin's in the same thing, same position. Okay. So you have this wave right here. You have this wave over here that it made. Okay. 5-wave move. It's a 5-wave move, right? GBTC did a 5-wave move. CME futures did a 5-wave move. So this is going to be a 5-wave move, guys, off the bottom. So it's more, to me, it's more like this section. I think it's going to be more like, so I take this trend, right? And it's just like so, and it's more or less kind of like that section right there, and not this this section over here, guys, in my opinion. You know, you see how small it is, that wave. It's more like one of these over here. Okay. So if I take off, let me take off the get rid of the, you see, like that, guys. It's more like that. So there's a good shot, in my opinion, that it could happen really, really fast and furious over there and be done in a few months. And 4-year cycle theory is not going to happen. It could, there's a chance it's not going to happen, guys. Okay. So you want to be aware of that. Like the people that are leaving right now, crypto, there's a lot of people leaving in droves in crypto. They're getting tired of it. They're getting fed up. There's not a clear trend. It's going up, it's going down. What are the altcoins doing? Some of them are going up. A lot of them are getting destroyed. And, you know, anybody who's been an investor and just holding stuff, waiting for this stuff to go into a serious bullish trend like that, are getting frustrated and they're leaving. They're just going. You can see it in the data and everything. They're going, and they're not really, they're gonna miss the main move. And then possibly the 4-year cycle theory, it's in a correction over here. They're waiting for this, and they're gonna get frustrated out, back up, and it's come back over here. And I was told the halving date is gonna do a moonshot, and there won't be a moonshot. You have to be aware of that. You have to plan for this and be aware of that and go, wait a second. Now, if it rips off a wave up here to 45,000 and does a multi-month correction over here, that's the only way it's going to fit. That is the only way this is going to fit. It needs to get back like up here and then do like a multi-month correction back down like this. and then it starts going into a third wave and having dates like right here, and then it can go off like that, guys. That's the only way that that's really going to fit, in my opinion. So I just went off a little bit. Want to show you guys some stuff that I'm looking at. And then over here too, reminder, this is probably a multi-month bounce for the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the other indices. I do think they're going to get ready to take off and do a lot better after the correction, because the banks are correcting, guys. So let me show you something. The banks, where's the my KRE right here, guys, the S&P Regional Bank ETF. And the banks are going to get ready to go. They're just finishing off their dump right here, finish off the dump, and they're going to get ready to go out of here, guys, because this is actually really, really bullish. The banks are going to be the one probably that are really going to be doing a ripper here pretty soon, guys, because this is 1, 2, here's your 3, 4, here's a 5, and it did a massive correction right here. So I'm looking at 1, and then it's got another 5 right here, and it's in this massive wave 2 crash. And then it's going to do another one of those, guys, more than likely. So the banks are going to bring up the indices, probably like the S&P 500 even a little bit more. Okay, S&P 500 a lot more, I guess you could say, right, into this area, back down, correction, come back up, and then when it's all said and done, boom, it's going to do another one of those, guys. That's how I'm looking at that. Or is it going to break it, is the whole thing. Don't know yet, guys, but this coming recession will be like this, will be like that, and they'll be like, there's your recession. Okay, something like that is going to be happening, in my opinion, if that recession shows up, if it happens. Like I said, it's a lower probability for me on my end and looking at it, guys. Okay, 20, 30%, 40% or something like that. If it doesn't happen and everything's a-okay, then you assume, okay, maybe that is bottom and is going into a wave 1, and there's going to be a wave 2 correction, and then the next thing will be getting out of there, guys. So that is a possibility, but remains to be seen. We will see how it goes. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.